you guys. Please leave this African spirituality. Please leave it alone.
I find it interesting. The way a lot of non-white Christians, or I guess non-Arabic Muslims from Africa, defend these religions that are not traditional to our West African heritage, is to say that people misuse the scripture, is to tell you about the possibility that it's not the spirituality or the religion itself of Christianity or Islam that has wreaked havoc on a continent. It is the people who have weaponized these things to wreak havoc on a continent. So I guess my question is, how can you understand that specifically for like Christianity, but you can't understand it for typical traditional African religions, such as the Ifa, right? How can you not understand that people who are practicing maybe things like voodoo or hoodoo, that maybe perpetuate certain evil or bad energy, is more so about the energy of the person rather than the religion itself. But for whatever reason, you can't do that, I know, because you have been taught to demonize whatever is of yours. I make a comparison to like Greek mythology. It's the best that I could find. What's funny about Christianity is that it actually lets you incorporate parts of paganism as you convert, or whatever your former religion was. It's its greatest asset. And in fact, it does the same to someone like him who's Nigerian. I'm Nigerian too, with like the Yoruba religion, right? There are certain elements, if you really think deep, that incorporates some of that religion into Christianity in the way you talk, even just in your language, and in the way you practice it, the way you preach, the way you pray to God. There's similarities there. But I use Greek mythology, and I find it funny that Greek mythology, I'm sure there are a lot of Christian Greeks, but they've turned that into this funny thing or a cool thing to go on TV, the god of thunder or Zeus, right? They don't demonize it. They don't, this anti-Greek. They don't get that out from what I see. But okay, now let's get to more some of the stuff that this gentleman talked about in his video. I'm not here to tell you to practice African traditional religion. I'm not here for that. I grew up in a Christian household. Mom's Christian, dad's Christian, whatever. Then there's another portion of my family, Muslim. My next question is, what would you say Christianity and Islam has brought to Nigeria? What would you say it has done to advance the cause of Nigerians? If you look at the troubles in Nigeria today, in that original creator's video, he said that there are people running away from Nigeria to run away from African traditional religions. No, they're not. They're running away from Christian corrupt politicians. They are running away from jihadist violence. They are running away from an unstable economy. They are running away from a weak currency. You can trace every president and / military dictator of Nigeria from now until when the country first got its independence. It alternates from Christian, Muslim, Christian, Muslim, Christian, Muslim. Where is the traditional African that came to ruin the country? Another thing that I saw in the comments of that video, and I'm going on a tangent here because there's so much to address, is Ethiopia. I have told you guys before, stop bringing up Ethiopia. Africa is a very large continent. You actually show your ignorance, okay? Your West African forefathers, anyone that's from the Caribbean, from Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Black in America, your forefathers had nothing to do with Ethiopians. And then on top of that, you display your own ignorance because you don't actually understand the true history of Christianity in Ethiopia. But anything to excuse your oppressors. Let's stay on Christianity. Trace Christianity back to the 1600s. The Portuguese brought it to Nigeria. It wasn't brought by Ethiopia just because it existed. No. What did they trade? They got rid of traditional religions, gave you Christianity, and the country's been what since? I'm here to tell you that you can love your relationship with Jesus, God, the Bible. You can love your relationship with Allah and not demonize something that is of you. It reeks of anti-blackness. And you appeal to authority. You tell people on the internet and they're clamoring to eat it up. Take it from someone that's from there. How do two people who have the same experiences come to different results? I don't understand that. The nerve of some of you to come on this internet and lie to people. Traditional African religion is what's plaguing Nigeria today? That's the root of our problems? Holy mackerel. It's a blimp on the radar. Nigeria is what, 56 something percent, 53 some percent Muslim, 40 something percent Christianity, a large number that people don't know if it's Judaism, and then you got 0.6% worshiping traditional religion. And then within that, there you have some people that are, I guess if you want to call it, the bad apple. I didn't have enough energy in me to do this video the right way, give you this structure. I just had disgust. I felt disgust. I tell y'all all the time, let me make light of this. White people up 15 in the third quarter. The missionaries did the work 70 plus years ago, 60 plus years ago. And you get nerve in your video say, don't worry about your ancestors. Stop trying to reach out to your ancestors. God. The colonizers did the work that far ago. They got rid, they beat it down on your ancestors, and now you let them down. Anybody that wants to, a part of the diaspora that wants to get in touch with, different African traditional religions, they're entitled to do so. Granted, they want to do so with goodwill. You're entitled to read and study. You're entitled to do any of those things. One of my favorite songs is from Fela Kuti. It's called Shuffling and Smiling. He has a part there where he goes, Archbishop day for London, Pope day for Rome, Imam day for Mecca. And then he goes, my people follow Bishop, they're going to follow Imam. The point is, these people that he named, these leaders of these religious institutions, they have their people. Archbishops for London. The Imam Mecca, that's for the Arabic people. Right? The Pope, but they've set their base. They're for their people. But they convince you to follow them. Meanwhile, since the colonial days, what do you have to show for it? Since the 1600s, what do you have to show for it? All right, I've said enough, man. It's just you can speak pro your religion without practicing self-hate.